Hello guys, Shocker came back here once again. You saw tired of the video. When I realized Resident Evil, the franchise itself was no longer for me. It's something I realized quite recently. And I finally accepted the problem is not the franchise itself, or the direction, or the fan base. I realized the only problem that was ever here in the first place was just me and myself. And it came quite simple. And because I saw everything else, I saw the Resident Evil 8. But Resident Evil 8 is just an off-brand Resident Evil 4.8. And that's more or less it. Got the exact same cast aesthetic. It takes some place in Europe. Just replace the zombies with a werewolf. Let's replace the parasite with a werewolf slash magnetic organ slash big fish slash vampire plague, and it's more or less kind of the same. And I didn't really like the game. Didn't like the direction of the story. It just did anything it wants to. The Chris Redfield thing is just Chris Redfield. Ethan dies, and moreover, I hate the plot. Had no interest in buying the game, and it just left it at that. I enjoyed Resident Evil 7. I enjoyed what it was, but it wasn't a Resident Evil game. Now some might say, well, you like Doom 3, and Doom still plays like Doom. Doom 3 still feels and plays like a Doom game. Just the fact that the Doom fans are stupid. I'm sorry, every one of y'all are dumb. It is what it is. Not everybody, but most of them are. It's like football fans, or any sports fans. It's a sad reality. I had to come to accept that most of them are stupid, and it's sad. I was wondering why do I always see sport fans and all of them as stupid. Then I realized why. Same thing the Doom fans. When Doom Eternal came out, all my questions were answered. But Doom 3 still feels like a Doom game. Doom 3 still plays like a Doom game. Doom 3 still is. Resident Evil 7 is not. I remember when Resident Evil 7 was first announced. I remember when Resident Evil 7 demo first came out. It's one the atmosphere and everything was great. It was fantastic. The game was outright scary. And that was just from the demo alone. So years later, picked up the full game. I enjoyed what I played. I enjoyed the earlier sections, the later sections. I've seen Let's Plays. I enjoyed the game. But it never felt like a Resident Evil game to me. Never did. Now my interest into the franchise was always for when I was younger. On the GameCube, my friend now showed me Resident Evil 4. And it was on the part where you gotta help bring Ashley to this place and the whole Besley. And then years later, I got the game on PS2. It's one of the most scariest games I've ever played. Barely got past the beginning part. It was too much. It was too much, man. It was too much. Even tried playing with my mother once. It was only a few years later. I was like, all right, I'm gonna play it, and I enjoyed the game. Fantastic game. Bought the game bought the game 2 extra times when the original broke. Bought it again, just like that. And then bought it again with the PS4 version, on which of course they're gonna release that version last, because of course you gotta try to get people to buy Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 5. Yeah, guys, those games I remember everybody enjoyed and just broke their neck to play. But then again, when you spend most of your life not really watching reviewers or keeping up with the fan bases, then that's what kind of happens to you. But in this case, never had any interest in Resident Evil 6, 5. I love Resident Evil 3, especially with the Legend Nemesis and how they butcher them in the reimagining. Because Resident Evil 3 remake is not a remake, it's a reimagining. A remake is like Destroy All Humans. A remaster is like Bulletstorm Full Clip, or when they did the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Another example of a remake is Resident Evil 1. That's the remake. They rebuilt that game from the ground up. Resident Evil 2, 3, and the upcoming 4 are just reimaginings that just slap remake onto the block because you know you're going to buy it, think it's the same thing. I don't see why there's so much confusion and why a lot of people saying it's a remake. It's not a remake, it's a reimagining of the original game. Because if it was a remake, it would play the same and it would look the same, and it does not. But some might say, alright, you enjoyed 3 and 4, have no interest in 2, besides from you played 2 to remake the sad is, which is just what 4 looks like now, on which, who thought it was a good idea just to give 2 and 3 Resident Evil 4 controls, just modified? I thought it was a great idea, I guess. But, sum things up, it was quite recently, it was like a good week ago, a week or it was before the recent Resident Evil gameplay stuff came out, and I sat there and I was like, and I saw like an entire breakdown and walk through the entire story, especially the Leon prequel movie film, and it was just I realized this is what the Resident Evil franchise has been about this entire time. Everything you see in 8 is what the franchise has been about this entire time. There's a reason why every single Resident Evil game, from Outbreak, from Code Veronica, must have some type of super tyrant inside the game. Because that's what is a genetic anomaly. Resident Evil 4 is a genetic anomaly. Why you think Nemesis acted what he does in the remake? Because it's not like they're trying to recapture the same Nemesis. And this is the direction Capcom has been going at, and this is the direction Capcom is pretty much is. And I've come to accept the fact that the Resident Evil I believed I knew was never there in the first place. It's like the old lie, they say never meet your heroes. It's the reason why you don't meet your heroes because they're not who you thought they was, or you believed them to be something that never was in the first place. And in this case, it was the latter. I thought the Resident Evil franchise was more. I saw 3, I saw 4. It's just like, I like this stuff. And then you get to 8 and see what 7 turned into, even with 8 adding the third person mode just because. And then I realized that in Revelation 1 and 2, and all the other side games, Survivors, the failed online launch, the Umbrella Corporation game that no one talks about because we got to sweep that on the rug, Operation Raccoon City, and then all clicked together. It all made sense to me. This franchise was never made for me in the first place. Resident Evil 4, a genetic anomaly. Resident Evil 3, a genetic anomaly. And it's sad. It's not even one of those cases where, of course, the people who worked on those games no longer work there. From that same fact, y'all would have stopped playing Call of Duty a long time ago. But you still play. And Warzone. Because somehow every game that's quote-unquote mainstream or has some popularity is what the gaming industry is, even though thousands of AA games and other games come out every year. Even games like Alloy Control or any other game, I bring up Wolfenstein in class and no one knows what that is. Really? Just nobody. But everybody know Madden and 2K though, in Call of Duty. Okay. And it's not even just that, similar to the online thing. Who is buying the Ubisoft game and why are people still buying trash? You know 2K and everything else is trash. You know Fallout is copy and pasting the exact same thing since the third game. Even like, they somehow butchered the driving controls. I don't know if I'm dumb or what, but why are they auto driving in the game and why can't I turn it off? Why can't I just veer off the road? Why is it keeping me on the road? Maybe I'm dumb. Cause I switch to the settings. I try to look this up, but it's just not a gameplay like this. No one brings it up. No one talks about it. People just think this is just. It's similar to this whole camaraderie of we all ready. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. This whole Resident Evil Second Coming thing. I don't know when this actually happened. Cause like there was a shift where it just became really big, and it's just now it's the one thing everybody's waiting for every year. Maybe because the internet gotten bigger. Cause Resident Evil always had a massive fan base, but this is different. This is different. But now it's one of the top games people wait for every year. It's just. I don't know, it wasn't even that. I realized what the game franchise was, looked through all the games, and like, alright, no. This is just what Resident Evil has always been. And I can't blame Capcom for that. I hope this time with Street Fighter they get it right. It seems like everything with Street Fighter 6 is amazing. It's actually fun to watch two people fighting Street Fighter. What blasphemy is this? But for Resident Evil, I realized the franchise, it's just not for me. It's just not. I used to think it was, but Resident Evil 4 is a genetic anomaly. Resident Evil 3, in some way, is a genetic anomaly. That's just it. And that's just it. And I come to accept that that's the only reason. That's the only reason. That's just it. This is it. I never had an interest in buying the other games because Resident Evil, I was like, I want 4, 5, 6, and I Metal Gear, I was like, I want 4, 5, 6. Even then, I bought 2 copies of Resident Evil 4, Metal Gear Solid 4, and they both don't work. For some strange reason. Where one would start up and just stay on black screen, or the other one just won't start it at all. Now, the company that I bought it from is a reliable source. Every other game has worked. Now, I might have to buy this one thing a second time, but usually 95% of the time it works. So, it comes with the case, a disc clean, everything. It works. But in this case, twice just no. But Resident Evil was never like that. I enjoyed 3. I enjoyed 4. I enjoyed my time with 7. But it's just 7 is not a Resident Evil game. But I've now realized why every single Resident Evil game gotta have some type of giant or some type of giant figure chasing you. Every single one of them. Every one of them have a super tyrant. The only one that does not have that is Resident Evil 4. What about 5? Just throwing Wesker and his other opponents to act similar. It's a genetic anomaly. And I've come to accept it what it is. A genetic anomaly. A freak accident. Because even then, how do you make a remake and you have Leon fighting a man with a chainsaw with his knife? And there's no more knife mode, it's just automatic. Then it's not a remake, it's just a reimagining. And it has killed all interest of me buying the game. Cause our room that I get to see the salamander, but he's just some redesigns. This why does that midget look like that? Why is his face all busted up? Why did they change Ashley's like early 2000s look? What did they change Ada Wong's outfit? What did they do to Luis? They butchered him. Like, what did they do to Luis? And it's just, that's when I realized that was the nail in the coffin. Because before I already said the franchise is not for me, but to truly kill all interest in the franchise further, because I already planned on I was already out of it. But this right here was just like, let me just see some gameplay. Let's see, maybe that might be something in the remake where just be like, maybe it might not be that bad. Might be alright. I seen that, and I was already out the door, but now I'm in the stratosphere. I'm hanging out at the asteroid belt past Mars, and I'm just chilling and dealing. I don't know, it's not really a sad thing. Similar things happened to the Transformers and the Dragon Balls and everything else. Everything else I used to enjoy. I don't even get a thing where it's sad. It's not one of those things where it's just a new generation. It's just like a new iteration. Because even with the rise of TMNT, I respect it, and the movie was solid. But this right here, it's just there's nothing left for me in this franchise. There's just nothing. So yeah. But that's more or less it. This is a quick video explaining how when I realized that the Resident Evil franchise was never for me in the first place. It is an interesting thing. It's a 100% a me problem here. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Continue to buy the games and continue to see the franchise push over it to where it always meant to be. Because we have a genetic anomaly like DMC or Resident Evil 4. I mean, at least with DMC Devil May Cry, it's still a Devil May Cry game. Just with a different stress of print and a few tweaked mechanics. But they never gave you a misconception about the rest of the franchise. Now the fan base may act like Dante's just a one-dimensional character when he's not, for some apparent reason. Even though that most of the traits and things in DMC Devil May Cry has been put into Devil May Cry characters in 5. Especially with the art style, some other mechanics, especially with the grappling hook and everything else. But no, DMC Devil May Cry don't get any credit. Even when the producer says he liked the game, you think anyone brings that up? Anybody cares? It only matters because it's how I shape it to be. No one bring up how toxic that fan base is, though. Okay. Alright. But it is what it is. It's what it is. Just a, I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I really don't. But, it's basically WK and got thoughts and opinions, but, Resident Evil was just not for me. I don't think it ever was for me. It was just a delusion of fantasy. I don't know. I don't know. Peace.